So this is the Mercedes Sprinter W906. It's a 2010, and I did another video fairly recently. I was missing gears on my VW Crafter. Well, we've got this 2010 Mercedes Sprinter, exact same thing. So I've gone ahead, I've bought I forget the exact price, I think it's about 60-70 quid, which is the gear change mechanism. The old one's fairly worn, not the worst, but fairly worn. I was struggling to get fifth gear, so I'm just changing all the used old worn parts. So obviously I'll keep that as a spare. But I just wanted all new bits on it. So this is the eBay unit. Obviously I've changed the leather gaiter across. It's the exact same one as I fitted in my Crafter fairly recently. The only difference on this one is the gear linkage cables, the adjusters, are the opposite way around to my VW Crafter. So for these ones you just clip them on there, on the ball joints, obviously securing them with the metal tabs. Don't forget to transfer across the reverse light micro switch, so that's just wired there and it's just tie wrapped in there. And for this particular one I'm just using the exact same gear linkage cables, only because they feel pretty new and tight, and I think they're all right. So I'm just in the process now of looking at these adjusters. So what I've done is I've come underneath the vehicle. It's on ramps and axle stands, and it's chocked at the rear, and I've just quite simply popped off this black, the top gear linkage cable. You just got to push that part back and it wriggles out. It's just secured there. You can see the other one's still in place. I just want to do these one at a time. Now these contraptions, obviously I dropped it down and I've just had to figure out how this releases, because it is very slightly different to the one I've just recently done on my VW Crafter. And it's quite good actually, because the ones on my Crafter had these pull toggles. I kept them, I thought I'd need to use them again, but actually for these you don't need to use them. It's the same brand, Custer. So the way you do it on this one, if you look, there's a part there that you can squeeze in, and there's a triangle cut out. Try and get this in focus. The triangle cut out there, it's a bit manky dirty, but when you press this in, it allows you, see what's happening there, to pull the whole thing open, and it clips in by itself. I can clean that just to show a bit better. It's like a little thing there. So quite simply, I'm gonna offer everything back up. I'm going to clip this on underneath, and once everything's set I'm going to press that and it'll just release itself, it'll catch, and it should be in the ideal position. Before you do that, you've got to make sure that this is centered. So this is the new gear change mechanism which I've fitted. It's fairly self-explanatory. It's a bolt there, whole thing wiggles out. Like I said, don't forget that reverse micro switch, because that'll be easy to break. Once that's off, you can just pop that ball joint off and that ball joint off for the two linkage cables. So this thing is how you center it. So I'll just uncenter it for now, just to show it. So it's this thing here. So I'm struggling with one hand here. There you go. It's just clipped itself back in, so that's back to normal. So you can move it there. And then to get the dead center position for adjusting these cables, you've got to, well, it's tricky with one hand, you've got to unclip, that's it, unclip them, and it just sits, you've just got to push it and wriggle it in, just sits in those grooves, and all it means is that that's locked bang center. So that's how you get the perfect adjustment. So I'll go back down underneath now, so we're just doing these one at a time. Just gonna pop that over, but obviously that's free to move now until I release that latch. That's what we want. So I'm just putting it back to where I found it, knowing that my mechanism is loose and released, and there's a ball joint up there which I've already popped off when I prepared earlier, so I'm just going to pop that on the ball joint if I can. I might have to just put my phone down a sec. Tricky, it's a little bit tight up here on space. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do, we'll have the cable out of the way, and I'm just going to use the full space, pop the ball joint on, that's not it, is it? Surely. Is that it then? Is that as far as it goes? I think it is, you know. Famous last words. That's it. So that's popped itself back up. And it's like a rubber boot that just tucks in. So that's that one adjusted again. And we'll go for, I wonder if I can do this. Oh, we'll have to pop it off, I think. See, can I just do it? But I think I'm going to have to definitely disturb the cable. Pop. No idea how much of this is recording. Cleaning this one off again a bit. So the other one's on. It doesn't look like that goes very far back at all, but it's all the way back, like. That is it. So pull that rubber back. So I've got to squeeze that locating tab. It's rather tricky to do. More light on. So it's that tab there, so yeah, it's all encrusted. So just that's it, squeeze it and pull. That's gone now, has it? Is it all the way? No, I can go more. That's it, squeeze it and pull it all the way past. So that's totally free now. So let's clean some of this rubbish off it. Yep. So just like the other one, I'm going to clip it back on. Oh, hello. This feels loose. Is it supposed to be as loose as that? Is it worn? Interesting. Don't know about that. So on the end of this, where this ball joint goes, it's feels a bit unusual. A little bit more play than what I would like, to be honest. Could be why we're missing fifth gear after all. Get the phone in. It's just there. A little bit more play than what I'd expect. I'm gonna have to check up on that, I think. Anyway, we'll go for it for now, see what happens. Just cleaning this part a little bit with my pokey stick so I can see a bit better. Right, I can see me coming back to revisit that, but anyway, let's see what this does. Very tight. It's like the other one. Oh, that would be an easy one. Come in from the other direction. That's better. Clicked. Yeah, it looks like a spline shaft, that. But there's not a lot holding it on. What's retaining that? It's like it could come off at any moment. I've checked and triple tracked these. They're really tight. That's not coming off. That's not coming off. Okay, so I'll release the clip on this other one. There's so much play in that though. I'm not happy with that at all. So that's released and locked itself. The other one check it's definitely locked. Yeah, I can feel that's locked in, that's locked in. Okay, so we'll see if that's any improvement. If it's not, I think I know the problem. There's just loads of play on this part. Might need to have a look into changing this other part, this pivot mechanism. Let's try that then. Yep. Oh, I'm gonna get me a new knob all oily. Use a cloth. Right, so oh shit. I forgot that hope I've not damaged that. So yeah, always remember this centre thing needs to clip back on. So first, second, third, fourth. I've got 6 perfectly. I'm struggling for 5th now, and I've got 6th. So it's 5th I've not got now. Great. So I'll do another tweak, see what we do. So I couldn't resist. I've ended up, before I do any further adjustments, this is that pivot that the gear linkage cable goes onto. So I've been able to reach up and just unscrew the nut from the top, and then it's wiggled out. And this is what I don't like. There's so much play in that. I mean, what even is that? How's that been? I bet that would just tap off with a hammer. Not that I'm just gonna get my welder out, I think, and try and get that in as central a position as possible. Get a right angle on it, I think, and I'm just gonna weld it there, all around there, so it's fixed. There'll be no play in it. Just a small amount of play like that can knock everything out with your gears. It's just not possible to have nice gears when you've got something wobbling about like that. So I'll get that done now. So I've welded this up now. I've just dressed it back with my grinder. I'm not the best welder, but it'll be perfectly adequate. It's solid now, it'll not move. So I'll let that cool down and we'll give it a go with that. Let's see if I can get the adjustment absolutely perfect. So we got it all back together, and the moment of truth: first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and reverse. So it's absolutely perfect again now. Well happy with that. So all I've done in the end, I've used the original gear linkage cables. I've changed the actual mechanism here, which you can buy the complete unit on eBay. It's about 70 quid. So it's well worth changing that, because these do get really worn. And the only reason I didn't change the gear linkage cables on this occasion was that they still looked absolutely spot on. So I've just been able to readjust them, and it's all working really, really nice. That's great. Of course, attention to detail with the mechanism down there, because the slightest bit play in any of the parts, or if there's any parts that are really worn, it can be the difference between a smooth gear selection or not. So it's really important just to have a hands-on approach with the full mechanism and make sure that you deal with any issues. In my instance, It was the pivot point with the ball joint on. It was loose, as you've seen a bit earlier in the video, so that was welded and rebuilt. It's fine now. In all honesty, with this particular vehicle, I think if I just welded that back on and put it back together, I probably would have found my missing gear. So I'm not too concerned that I've changed this unit, because it was worn. It was getting ready for changing anyway, so that's fine. Thank you very much for watching the video. I hope it helps somebody. Like I say, I only try to post content when I struggle to find particular things online. I always have a look before I do anything to see if other people have been there first and had a positive outcome. So a lot of the videos I post is because I've struggled to find things myself, and I've had to just figure it out myself. I hope my videos are of use to somebody. Please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.